Hey guys, here is how you're going to use Adobe Fresco on your project. First thing you want to do is open up and create a new document. So on the bottom left, you'll see Create New, and you want to use Letter. You might look across, might be under Recent, Saved. For sure, it's going to be under Print. You want Letter. Click on it, it'll open up. First thing I like to do is use my fingers and pinch to make it smaller. And then we are actually going to turn ours sideways. So I'm just twisting my fingers to turn it. Now, with this program, you're going to add in your picture first. So over on the bottom left of all the lists, you see a little mountain landscape. Click on that. We're going to hit Camera. So it's going to turn your camera, and I am going to line up my iPad directly over my paper, and I want it to fill the full screen. It's okay if there's a shadow on it, no big deal. Take the photo. Check it. If it looks good, say Use Photo. If it asks to have access, just hit Yes. Now at this point, it's going to throw your picture on the paper. So before you get out of here, you want to adjust it. So if you need to make things a little bit bigger, or if you want to angle it, now would be the time to do that. It's going to make your life easier. So you could turn it. I might just turn mine. Make it a little bigger to fill that space. So I'm looking at that white paper behind to see how big I want it. Once that is good, up on the top right, I'm going to hit Done. So I have my picture on top of my paper. Now what I like to do is I like to change the opacity of this layer. So I'm going to click on these three lines up on the top right, and layer opacity, I'm going to turn it down a little bit. So if I click those three lines again and close it, you see how now in these areas here and up here, you can see through the paper. I think that's a great idea because it shows us where everything's at. So we have our photo layer. Now this is key. We need to put a layer on top of this. So on the middle right-hand side, there's a box with a plus. I want you to click that. This puts a layer on top of your photo. You gotta work on a separate layer. If you don't, you're gonna waste a lot of time. So layer on top. Now we wanna come over to our paintbrush type. So top left. When we look at paintbrushes, we want one that has a nice smooth edge. So let's try basic first. Hard round would be a great one to use. We're going to click on that one and close back out. If you click on the circle, that's picking out colors. This is for size. So we're going to pick a good size. Try out a size. Ooh, that one's really big. A great way to undo is to take two fingers and touch the screen at the same time, and it undoes it. So now I can adjust. Still a little thick. So adjust your size. Yeah, we're really close. I like that size. Okay. Nothing else we need to adjust. Now you're going to take the time and you're going to go over all the lines that you drew on your paper. Make sure, again, this needs to be on a blank layer on top of your photo. Now when I do this, I like to zoom in. So I'm just taking my fingers and zoom. And I'm going to take my time and I'm going to draw. Now, you might notice you get these weird funky things like this at the end. It might take a little bit of getting used to. You might have to do one, and then I don't like it, erase it, try it again. Take your time, turn the screen if you need to. See what's going to work best. But you want to take your time and you want to outline everything first. I'm going to do that, and then I'm going to come back and show you what to do next. All right, as you see, I have the entire thing outlined. You might have noticed in that quick little run through, if you have a long straight line, a great trick, I'll show you real fast. You can draw it however, and if you hold your pen down and don't lift it up, then it doesn't like me that time. Come on, draw a line, hold it, there we go. Then it's going to snap in the right spot, then you can adjust your angle. That's great when you want a perfectly straight line. All right, so if we look back on the right, since our photo layer is different than our drawing layer, I could go to my photo layer, click on it, and I could hide the layer, and now we see our drawing without the photo behind it. This way we can delete that photo layer later, and we won't have to use it. Makes life so much easier. Now at this point, I would take your time and add any more designs you might want to on this black outline layer. Again, making sure you're on that layer on top, not on your original photo layer. So maybe some rays in the background, some extra puffs or spikes. You decide what it is. Fill in all extra designs you're going to want to add to your image. I'm going to do that, and then I'll start talking to you how to do color in just a minute. So I added in some rays, some extra little spikes. Love it. Now, before I color, I want to do my color on a different layer than my outline. So I'm going to come back over to my layers. So that's the middle on the right, and I'm going to hit that box with a plus to add a new layer. Now here's the key thing. I want to take that layer, I'm going to press and hold on to it, and I'm going to move it behind that outline layer. It's got to be underneath it. That puts it behind. This way, let's just show you an example. If I change my color, and I'll make it nice and big, my design goes behind the outline. So you see here, since the red is behind that outline layer, we see the black lines on top. If I move it, put it on top, it covers it up. So this is a great way for you to color behind your image. Then you don't have to worry about messing up that outline. So I'm just going to undo. Now you go into deciding on your colors. I would probably stick with either this basic hard round brush or maybe hard round size flow. That could work well too. So you can get those pointed tips a little bit easier into those corners. Again, color is this wheel here. So you swing this wheel around to get colors, and then the box in the center is for your vibrancy, so how bright the color is. We want definitely bright, bold colors. And we want the opacity to be 100%, so not see-through. And we want to pick 3 to 5 colors that are really bright and bold to use for this. So maybe, I think I want to start with a bright yellow first. I want my size fairly, not flow. I want size decently big. I think I'm going to start with the letters, my word first. So I'm going to go through and I'm going to color in behind the word. And since it's behind the outline, I don't have to worry about coloring exactly perfect because it goes behind. Now, if you mess up, let's say I bump a little bit out too far. Sometimes I'll color quickly like that and I get a little outside the lines. If you don't want to have to undo, there's the eraser tool. You can always adjust your size. That's flow. Size, that's the right one. There we go. So there is an eraser tool where you can erase any mistakes as well. I personally like to work quickly and then erase back to get it to what I like. You decide what works best for you. Back to my brush and back to it. Oopsie, again, I went too fast outside my line. So now you're just going to go through and you're going to do some base coloring for everything. I'm going to do my entire word first and everywhere that I want yellow, and I'm going to get those done first. Then I'll show you my next step. Now that I've done all my yellow sections, I like to make a different layer for every single color I use. It makes cleanup way easier later. So I'm going to add a layer. Now I'm going to pick my next color. Maybe I want to go with the bright green. So I'm going to work my way through. Each color is going to be a different layer, always making sure that I'm behind that top outline layer. Okay, so go through, color everything, and I'll show you some last little finish ups in just a minute. So this is what's great about doing each color on a different layer, is now that I've gone through and colored everything, and I want to leave that one spot white, it's really obvious to tell where I made mistakes. So like if I zoom in here, we can see I went outside the lines on the green and the yellow. Now I know exactly which layer to click onto, get my eraser, and it's a lot faster to clean up. Then I'll go to my yellow layer, boom, and I can go faster that way. Oops, a little too far. So I can just work my way around, figuring out for each color where I went too far, where I need to clean it up, and I just know what layer I need to be on based off of what color I'm trying to clean up. So greens, get clean on the green layer, and so on and so forth. So you want to make sure you take your time to go back and clean up any places you went outside your lines. Use your eraser, zoom in where you need to, clean it all up. You might also have noticed when I was coloring that I used my layers and where I placed each layer to make my life easier. Like my black layer here. So if I took my black layer and I moved it up higher, all of a sudden you can tell I did not color inside the lines because I didn't have to. Since the pink and green are on top of it, so if I put it down below the pink and green, those colors cover up any mistakes from the layer below it. So remember, those layers are like stacked on top of each other. Use that stacking to help clean things up. All right, now that you have the base colors everywhere, now you can add some fun designs and patterns, blending of colors, play around with the paintbrushes, that sort of thing. So what I'm going to do is, let's say that pink layer. I want to do something fun with that. I'm going to add a layer on top of the pink, and then if we look on that middle set, there's a box with that arrow pointing over and down. I want to click on that. This means whatever I do to this layer only affects the area that was used in the layer before. Let me show you what I mean. Let's pick a color I haven't used anywhere yet. And let's pick a weird brush. Let's say a charcoal brush. Sure. So, if I use this charcoal brush, you can see it's only putting down marks on that pink layer, or where I originally drew in pink. You can see some places I went outside the lines, but it's only affecting that layer because that's called a mask. So that little arrow pointing over and down means it only affects that layer below it. So this is great when you want to put in fun designs and colors. Another fun trick is use the eyedropper. So let's say I want that exact color of pink again. I'm going to grab this eyedropper and I can move it around and it picks up that exact color of pink. So now I could go to it and say, okay, I just want a slightly darker version of it. And I'm going to use a different brush. Now sadly, the comics brush that looks like the Ben-Day dots is not a free one, so sadly we can't use it. So those ones with stars, those aren't free. Sorry guys, can't use those ones. But we can try some of the other brushes, having fun with it. Again, ones that don't have stars. You could find some fun textures, whatever. Maybe I want to just put some darker shadow behind that white spike. There we go. Maybe I then want to come to the green layer. And I'm going to put a layer on top. Use that mask, so that box with the arrow over and down. I'm going to pick up my color of green. I'm going to do a slightly darker color. Maybe I do the same thing here. So this is just one idea, just one little brush, just to show you how when you do that mask, it does one layer at a time. You could also do this to do a blend of colors. Let's say my yellow blam. I'll do a layer on top, the mask, over and down box, and I'm going to pick my yellow. I think maybe I want to do a blend with that pink. And I'm going to do a different brush. Let's do, maybe I'll do a softy mixer. And I want flow to be down. This will make it kind of see-through. Smoothing's fine. Size, I want it kind of big. And I'm going to put some layers just on that bottom edge. My flow a little darker. So you see how I'm just kind of layering up just a little bit there. Then I can take the smoothing or blending tool. I can adjust my size here. Oops, there's size. And I can smudge and blend, so it gives me kind of that sunset look. So I can blend those colors. So that's a great way to use that mask to add some extra fun colors. Have fun with it, make it look awesome, make it look cool. When it's all done, here is what you want to do is save it. First, click on the title up at the top. It's going to start with untitled. You want to click on the title, give it a title with your name. Maybe I would just want to say mine is Riggy Blam. Save. Now, I could just click Save Now from there, or if that's not open, up towards the top right corner, there's a box with the arrow pointing up. This is what you'd use to save it. A quick export. This will save a copy of your picture onto your iPad. So I'm just going to say Save Image, ignoring my text messages there. It saves a picture onto my iPad. Now I could go into it. You can go into your drive. You can save a copy. You could send me a copy. But that is how you save it. I can't wait to see what yours turn out like.